Hey there, coin enthusiasts and treasure hunters. Have you ever looked at a quarter and thought, it's just 25 cents? Well, buckle up because today we're diving into a coin story that could turn your pocket change into a goldmine. That's right, we're talking about the 1965 Washington quarter that's making waves in the market. And, spoiler alert, some of these bad boys are worth up to $1 million. Yes, you heard me right. $1 million for a quarter. Let's crack this mystery wide open. Now, before we get into the juicy details, let me set the stage. Picture this, it's the mid-1960s. The Beatles are on the radio, bell-bottoms are all the rage, and the US Mint decides to change the composition of quarters from 90% silver to a copper-nickel blend. Why? Silver prices were skyrocketing, and the government needed to cut costs. So, starting in 1965, silver quarters were officially a thing of the past. Or were they? Here's where it gets exciting. A small number of 1,965 quarters were accidentally struck on leftover silver blanks from 1964. These rare, silver, 1965 quarters are what's causing all the buzz. Imagine stumbling upon one of these in your old coin jar. That's like finding a golden ticket, but instead of Willy Wonka's chocolate factory, you're getting a ticket to financial freedom. Okay, so how do you know if you've got one of these silver gems? First, check the edge of the coin. Most 1965 quarters have a copper core, so you'll see a distinct copper band on the edge. But if the edge is pure silver, no copper band in sight, you might be holding a silver 1965 quarter. Another tip? Weigh it. A standard copper-nickel quarter weighs about 5.67 grams, while a silver quarter comes in at 6.25 grams. A small difference, but in the coin world, it's massive. Now, here's a little story for you. A friend of mine, let's call him Dave, was cleaning out his late grandfather's attic when he stumbled across an old coffee can filled with coins. At first, he thought it was just a bunch of loose change. But as he started sorting through it, he noticed a 1965 quarter that looked a little different. Long story short, Dave took it to a coin dealer, had it authenticated, and, drumroll, please, it turned out to be one of the rare silver quarters. The final auction price? $45,000. Not quite $1 million, but hey, that's a pretty sweet payday for a quarter. Speaking of auctions, let's talk about the market value. These rare 1965 silver quarters have been known to fetch anywhere from tens of thousands to over $1 million, depending on their condition and the buyer's interest. Coin collectors and investors go wild for these because of their rarity and historical significance. It's like owning a little piece of American history, except this piece could pay off your mortgage. So, what should you do if you think you found one? First, don't spend it. Seriously, don't be the person who accidentally uses $1 million coin to buy a soda. Next, have it authenticated by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll verify if it's the real deal and give it an official grade, which can significantly impact its value. Finally, consider reaching out to auction houses that specialize in rare coins. They can help you get the best price for your treasure. Alright, folks, that's the scoop on the 1965 Washington quarter that's worth its weight in, well, not quite gold, but definitely silver. Who knew something so small could be worth so much? If you've got a coin jar lying around, it might be time to do some treasure hunting. And if you're as fascinated by these stories, yes, you heard me right, millions of dollars. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of the 1972 Washington quarter. Could one of these coins hiding in your piggy bank turn your life into a rags to riches story? Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for and how to spot a fortune right in your pocket. What makes the 1972 Washington quarter so special? First off, not every 1972 quarter is worth a fortune, but some rare errors in high-grade specimens have turned ordinary pocket change into extraordinary bank accounts. Here's the deal. During the minting process, sometimes the dies, those are the tools used to stamp the designs on coins, get a little, let's say, creative. For example, look out for doubling on the lettering or the numbers. It's called a double die error, and it's like the coin's signature of rarity. Grab a magnifying glass and check Liberty or the date 1972 for signs of doubling. If it looks like the letters are shadow dancing, you might be onto something big. Here's a personal story to make it real. A few years back, I was helping a friend clean out her old coin jar, the one that's been sitting on the kitchen counter for decades. As we sorted through the quarters, nickels, and dimes, I spotted a 1972 quarter that seemed different. After some research and a quick trip to a coin shop, it turned out to be worth over $1,200. Not quite the $1 million jackpot, but still, not bad for something she almost spent on a vending machine snack. Now, if you're thinking, okay, but how does this turn into millions? Here's the kicker. Coins in mint condition, the ones that look like they've been in a time capsule, can fetch jaw-dropping prices at auctions. One particularly rare 1972 quarter with an extraordinary error sold for over $2 million. That's right, someone's pocket change became their ticket to financial freedom. But even if your 1972 quarter isn't museum-worthy, don't lose hope. Quarters with mild errors or in great condition can still sell for hundreds or thousands of dollars. The key is to get your coin authenticated by a professional grading service. Think of it like getting your treasure map verified by a pirate. You want to make sure X marks the spot. Now, let's talk strategy. Start by checking every quarter you come across. Got a jar of old coins at home? Dive in. Visit yard sales, flea markets, or even ask your grandparents if they have a stash of loose change lying around. Trust me, they'll be thrilled you're interested in their old junk. And don't forget to protect any potential treasures you find. Store valuable coins in a protective holder to avoid scratches. Every little ding can knock down the value, and nobody wants to lose a payday because of a careless toss into a drawer. Alright, coin enthusiasts, it's time to grab those magnifying glasses and start your treasure hunt. Who knows? That next quarter you find could be your golden ticket, or silver, in this case. You stumble upon a coin that could make you a millionaire. Sounds like a dream, right? Well, today, we're talking about the 1979 D. Washington quarter. Yep, that humble little quarter sitting in your drawer might just have the potential to change your life. Stick around because I'll tell you exactly why this coin is worth a closer look and how it's turning heads in the market right now. And trust me, you'll want to hear the story of how one lucky guy struck gold, or, should I say, struck silver, with this very coin. The 1979 D. Washington quarter isn't your average piece of pocket change. First off, let's break down what makes this coin special. Back in 1979, the Denver Mint produced millions of these quarters. But here's the kicker, some of them came out with errors or unique features that collectors absolutely love. And when collectors love something, you know what happens. The value skyrockets. One of the key things to look for on this coin is the mint mark. The D under Washington's portrait tells you it was made in Denver. But the real jackpot is in the details. Look for double die errors, which is when the coin's design looks slightly doubled. It's like the coin had too much coffee and got a little jittery during production. These errors can make a massive difference in value. Coins with clear doubling on the lettering or the year can fetch thousands, even millions, at auctions. Now, let me share a story. A friend of mine, let's call him Dave, was cleaning out his attic when he found an old coffee can filled with quarters. He almost tossed it out, thinking, what's the big deal? But then he remembered my constant ramblings about valuable coins. He decided to check each quarter, and lo and behold, he found a 1979 D quarter with a rare minting error. After getting it authenticated, he sold it for a jaw-dropping $50,000. Imagine that. Cleaning out the attic paid better than his 9 to 5 that month, but wait, there's more. Condition matters too. If your 1979 D quarter is in pristine condition, what collectors call mint state, you're looking at serious money. Even a coin without errors but in perfect condition can fetch hundreds of dollars. Pro tip, check your coins with a magnifying glass and good lighting. The devil's in the details. You're probably wondering, okay, so what's the current market value? Well, here's the scoop. A regular 1979 D quarter might only be worth face value, but if you've got one with errors or in top-notch condition, it can range from a few hundred to a few $1,000s. And if you're one of the extremely lucky ones with a highly coveted error, you could be looking at bids that soar into the millions. Yes, millions. It's like winning the coin lottery. So, the next time you're sorting through your change, don't just glance at it. Take a closer look. Your ticket to a big payday might be jingling in your pocket right now. And hey, if you've got a 1979 D Washington quarter, drop a comment below and let us know. Who knows, you might be sitting on a fortune. But what if I told you that your average-looking 1981 Washington quarter could be worth millions? Yep, you heard that right, millions. So, grab your loose change and let's dive into the fascinating story of the 1981 Washington quarter that's making waves in the coin-collecting world. Spoiler alert, you might want to double-check your junk drawer after this. The 1981 Washington quarter was minted in Philadelphia, and at first glance, it looks like your typical 25-cent piece. But here's where things get interesting. Some of these quarters have rare errors or anomalies that make them incredibly valuable to collectors. Think of it like finding a typo in a first-edition Harry Potter book, a mistake that makes it worth a fortune. One of the most sought-after features on the 1981 quarter is what collectors call the double die obverse. It's when the coin's design is slightly duplicated, creating a ghost-like effect on George Washington's face or the lettering. If you spot one of these, congratulations, you've hit the jackpot. And by jackpot, I mean potentially millions of dollars at auction. Now, you might be thinking, yeah, but what are the odds I have one of these rare coins? Honestly, pretty slim. But hey, someone's got to find them, right? It's like winning the lottery without even buying a ticket. Here's a quick story. A few years ago, my cousin was clearing out an old piggy bank. He came across a 1981 quarter and was about to toss it in the Coinstar machine. But he'd recently watched one of my videos and decided to take a closer look. Lo and behold, it had a slight doubling on the date. He ended up selling it for thousands of dollars. True story. And now he always calls me before cashing in his change. But it's not just the errors that can make these coins valuable. The condition of the coin plays a huge role too. If you've got a 1981 quarter in mint state, meaning it looks as fresh as the day it was struck, you're in luck. Grading services like PCGS or NGC can authenticate and grade your coin, and if it's top-notch, collectors will pay big bucks for it. I'm talking thousands, even tens of thousands, depending on the rarity and demand. You might wonder why anyone would pay so much for a quarter. Well, collectors are a passionate bunch. For them, it's not just about the monetary value but the story, the history, and the thrill of owning something unique. Plus, let's be real, who wouldn't want to brag about owning $1 million quarter? So, what's the takeaway here? Don't overlook your pocket change. That unassuming 1981 Washington quarter in your hand might just be the golden ticket to a financial windfall. Take a few minutes to check for any unusual features, doubling, mint errors, or even pristine condition, and who knows, you could be sitting on a fortune. Yes, you heard that right, a simple quarter from your pocket change could be worth a fortune. But before you start tearing apart your couch cushions, stick around because I'm going to tell you why this coin is so valuable and how you can spot one. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. First, let's talk about the 1983 Washington quarter itself. This isn't just any ordinary coin. Back in 1983, something pretty unique happened. The US Mint didn't produce any mint sets that year. So, the coins that were released into circulation took all the wear and tear of daily use. That means finding one in pristine condition today is like finding a needle in a haystack. Now, here's the kicker. If you happen to find a 1983 quarter in mint state, especially one graded MS67 or higher by a reputable grading company like PCGS or NGC, you're looking at a coin worth thousands, possibly even $1 million. No joke. In fact, one of these coins sold for over $7,000 at auction, and that was years ago. With the rising interest in numismatics, who knows what it could fetch today? Let me share a little story. A few years ago, I was helping my neighbor clear out her attic. She had this old coffee can filled with loose change. I'm talking decades worth of pennies, nickels, dimes, you name it. As I'm sifting through the coins, there it was, a 1983 quarter. My heart skipped a beat. Was this my ticket to an early retirement? Sadly, no. It had too much wear, and the grading wouldn't have been high enough to fetch big bucks. But it's moments like that when you realize these coins are out there, just waiting to be found. So, how do you know if you've got a valuable one? Here are a few tips. Look for coins with little to no wear. If it looks shiny and new, you might be onto something. Some 1983 quarters have minting errors, like double dies or off-center strikes, which can skyrocket their value. If you think you found a gem, send it to a professional grading service. They'll confirm its condition and authenticity, which is crucial for selling at a high price. Don't go spending hours examining every single coin in your change jar. Focus on rolls of quarters or old collections where there's a better chance of finding something special. So there you have it, the fascinating world of the 1983 Washington quarter and why it's such a big deal. Who knew something as small as a quarter could make such a massive impact on your bank account? Before you run off to hunt for hidden treasure, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got plenty more tips and tricks coming your way about coins that could change your life. And hey, if you've ever found a rare coin or have a collection story to share, drop it in the comments below. Let's turn this community into the ultimate treasure hunting team. What if I told you that a simple coin sitting in your pocket change could be worth $1 million? Sounds wild, right? Well, grab a cup of coffee and hold on to your hats because today we're diving into the world of the 1985 Washington quarter. Yes, that little quarter might just make you a millionaire, if the stars align. Let's break it down, and who knows? You might be richer than you think. So, let's talk about the 1985 Washington quarter. First, a quick history lesson. These coins were minted in Denver, hence the little D under George Washington's portrait. Over 519 million of these were struck that year, which might make you think they're a dime a dozen, or a quarter a dozen. Anyway, here's the twist. Not all quarters are created equal. The reason this specific quarter can be worth so much boils down to a rare minting error. Some 1985 quarters left the mint with an off-center strike, doubling on the lettering, or, and this is the jackpot, a misprint so unique that collectors are willing to throw down serious cash. How serious? Let's just say, life-changing money, serious. But wait, don't go tearing apart your couch cushions just yet. The $1 million 1985 isn't something you'll find in every spare change jar. To hit that kind of value, the coin needs to be in pristine condition, graded as MS 68 or higher. That's mint state perfection, my friends. Think of it as a coin that's never seen the inside of a vending machine. Quick story time. A few years ago, I was sorting through a box of coins my grandma had saved, you know, the classic cookie tin full of random change. I wasn't expecting much, maybe a cool penny or two, but then I saw a shiny 1985 quarter. My heart skipped a beat. Could this be the one? Spoiler alert, it wasn't. But hey, it was a fun afternoon, and I learned a ton about coins in the process. Plus, Grandma got a kick out of it. Back to the $1 million question, how do you know if your 1985 quarter is worth a fortune? First, grab a magnifying glass or even your phone's camera with a zoom lens. Check for those rare errors, the off-center strikes, doubling, or any other quirks. Then, check the condition. Is it shiny and flawless, or does it look like it survived a round in a washing machine? If you think you've got something special, send it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC to get it certified. That's your ticket to the big leagues. Now, let's talk market value. A typical 1985 D quarter in circulated condition is worth, drumroll, about 25 cents. Yeah, sorry to burst your bubble. But if you've got one of those rare, mint-condition beauties, auction houses could value it anywhere from a few $1,000s to, in some rare cases, that magical $1 million mark. It's like winning the lottery, but with more history and less scratching. So, there you have it. The 1985 D Washington quarter might just be your ticket to a millionaire's club, or at least a fun story to share at your next family dinner. Either way, it's proof that paying attention to the small stuff can really pay off, literally. You spot a 1988 P Washington quarter. What if I told you that little 25-cent piece could actually be worth millions? Yep, millions. So, hold on to your hats, and your quarters, because today we're diving into the crazy world of valuable coins and why this specific quarter might just make you a millionaire. The 1988 P Washington quarter is pretty standard on the surface. It was minted in Philadelphia, hence the little P mint mark. Most of these quarters are worth, well, 25 cents. But there are some exceptions, and that's where it gets exciting. The reason some of these quarters are so valuable comes down to minting errors and rare varieties. Picture this, it's 1988, and the mint is cranking out quarters like there's no tomorrow. But maybe a worker is a little distracted, dreaming about their weekend plans, and bam. A die misalignment happens, or an overstruck coin is created. These errors make the coin unique, and collectors go wild for them. Now, let's talk about one of the most famous cases. A few years back, someone found a 1988 P quarter with a double die error. What's a double die, you ask? It's when the coin's design is accidentally stamped twice, creating a slightly blurry or shadowed look on the lettering or imagery. It's like the coin's version of a bad photo edit, but collectors see it as pure gold. Well, silver in this case. These rare error coins have been known to fetch insane prices at auctions. We're talking 6, 7, even 8 figures. In fact, a double die 1988 P quarter recently sold for over $1 million. Not bad for a coin you might have used to pay for parking, huh? Now, let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I was at a flea market, you know, those places where you find everything from vintage records to questionable hot dogs. I stumbled upon a jar of old coins. Just for kicks, I bought it for $5. When I got home, I sifted through it and found a 1988 P quarter. At first, I thought, cool, a quarter. But then I took a closer look and saw some weird doubling on the letters. My heart skipped a beat. Long story short, it wasn't the $1 million kind, but I still sold it for $300. Not bad for a $5 investment, right? So, how can you spot one of these jackpot coins? First, get yourself a good magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe. Look closely at the lettering, the date, and Washington's profile. If you see any doubling, misalignments, or other oddities, you might just have something special. Next, check the coin's condition. A pristine coin is worth way more than one that looks like it's been through a garbage disposal. Finally, get it authenticated by a professional grading service. They'll give you the thumbs up or down, and help you figure out its real value. So, the next time you're emptying your pockets or rating your couch cushions, keep an eye out for that 1988 P Washington quarter. Who knows? It might just be your ticket to early retirement. And if you found today's video helpful or even a little entertaining, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Join our community of coin enthusiasts, and let's uncover more treasures together. Thanks for watching, and remember, every coin tells a story, and some stories are worth a fortune. See you next time. We're diving into a coin that might just make you do a double take next time you're rummaging through your loose change. Imagine this, a humble 1989 P Washington quarter dollar, casually chilling in your pocket, could be worth millions. Yes, you heard that right, millions. If that doesn't make you want to check your couch cushions, I don't know what will. So, grab your magnifying glass and let's talk about what makes this quarter so special. But first, let me tell you a quick story. A few months ago, I found myself at a garage sale. I'd gone to buy a lamp, but instead, I left with an old jar of coins. Long story short, while sorting through the jar, I found a 1989 quarter. My heart skipped a beat. Could this be the jackpot? Spoiler alert, it wasn't. But hey, the hunt continues, right? Okay, let's get into it. The 1989 Washington quarter was minted in Philadelphia, hence the P mint mark. Now, normally, these coins are worth their face value, 25 cents. But there's always an exception to the rule, and that's where this story gets exciting. What makes certain 1989 quarters so valuable? It's all about rarity and condition. A perfect example is a high-grade coin with no scratches, dings, or discoloration. Coin collectors, or numismatists if you want to get fancy, are willing to pay top dollar for coins in mint state condition. And by top dollar, I mean they've been known to shell out hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars for the rarest finds. If your quarter looks like it just rolled out of the mint and into your hand, you might be sitting on a small fortune. Certain 1989 quarters have minting errors, like double dies or off-center strikes. These errors make them incredibly unique and highly sought after by collectors. Picture it like this: your coin is the quirky one at the coin party, and everyone wants to hang out with it. These are specially made for collectors and often have a mirror-like finish. If you have one, you've hit a small gold mine, well, silver mine, but you get the idea. In recent auctions, rare 1989 quarters have fetched staggering prices. One sold for over $100,000, and another with a significant mint error was valued in the millions. Why? Because these coins are like the unicorns of the coin world, rare, magical, and highly desirable. So, how do you find one? Start by checking your spare change, those old jars of coins, or even ask your friends and family if they have any 1989 quarters lying around. You never know, one man's quarter is another man's ticket to early retirement. If you think you found a valuable coin, don't clean it. Seriously, put the soap and water down. Cleaning a coin can reduce its value faster than you can say, numismatic. Instead, take it to a professional coin appraiser or send it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC. Before we wrap up, let's circle back to my garage sale story. While my 1989 quarter turned out to be just an ordinary coin, the experience taught me something valuable. You never know what treasures are hiding in plain sight. The thrill of the hunt is half the fun, and who knows? Maybe your next find will be the real deal. Alright, that's it for today's coin adventure. 1994 Washington quarter, just another ordinary coin, right? Wrong. That little piece of change might just be worth $1 million. Yep, you heard that right, $1 million. Stick around because today we're diving into the surprising world of the 1994 Washington quarter and why it's got collectors going bananas. The 1994 Washington quarter was minted in Philadelphia, hence the P. Now, at first glance, it looks like any other quarter you'd toss into a vending machine for a bag of chips. But there's more to this coin than meets the eye. The real kicker. A select few of these quarters were struck with an extraordinary error. It's what collectors call a die variety, which basically means something went haywire during the minting process. These errors can include double dies, off-center strikes, or even some funky lettering. And in the case of the 1994 quarter, one particular error coin sold for a jaw-dropping $1 million. Yes, $1 million. Now, here's where it gets juicy. These errors are super rare, and spotting one is like finding a golden ticket to Willy Wonka's chocolate factory, but for grown-ups who love shiny stuff. You'll need to whip out a magnifying glass and look closely at the coin. Pay attention to details like the date, the lettering, and the edges. If something looks off, you could be holding a fortune in your hands. Let me tell you a quick story. A few months ago, I was cleaning out my car, you know, the kind of clean where you find stale fries under the seat and random coins everywhere. I stumbled across a few quarters and decided to check them out because, well, you never know. One of them turned out to be from 1994, and I nearly had a heart attack. I spent the next hour squinting at it under a desk lamp, convinced I'd found the holy grail of coins. Spoiler alert, it wasn't worth $1 million, but it did lead me down a rabbit hole of learning about valuable quarters. And hey, I've been hooked ever since. Now, you might be wondering, what makes these error coins so valuable? The short answer is supply and demand. Coin collectors, also known as numismatists, are willing to shell out big bucks for rare finds to complete their collections. Combine that with the sheer rarity of a mint error, and you've got yourself a recipe for skyrocketing value. And here's a pro tip: if you think you found a valuable coin, don't just toss it in a jar with your loose change. Handle it carefully, store it in a protective case, and get it authenticated by a professional. Trust me, nothing's worse than finding out you accidentally spent $1 million coin on a cup of coffee. So, there you have it, the incredible story of the 1994 Washington quarter that's got collectors losing their minds. Who knew that pocket change could turn into life-changing money? If this video has you itching to check your spare change, grab a magnifying glass and get to work. And hey, if you've got a coin story of your own, drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear about it. Before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got plenty more tips and tricks on coins worth big money, and you won't want to miss out. You find a 1994 Washington quarter, just another ordinary coin, right? Wrong. That little piece of change might just be worth $1 million. Yep, you heard that right, $1 million. Stick around because today we're diving into the surprising world of the 1994 Washington quarter and why it's got collectors going bananas. The 1994 Washington quarter was minted in Philadelphia, hence the P. Now, at first glance, it looks like any other quarter you'd toss into a vending machine for a bag of chips. But there's more to this coin than meets the eye. The real kicker. A select few of these quarters were struck with an extraordinary error. It's what collectors call a die variety, which basically means something went haywire during the minting process. These errors can include double dies, off-center strikes, or even some funky lettering. And in the case of the 1994 quarter, one particular error coin sold for a jaw-dropping $1 million. Yes, $1 million. Now, here's where it gets juicy. These errors are super rare, and spotting one is like finding a golden ticket to Willy Wonka's chocolate factory, but for grown-ups who love shiny stuff. You'll need to whip out a magnifying glass and look closely at the coin. Pay attention to details like the date, the lettering, and the edges. If something looks off, you could be holding a fortune in your hands. Let me tell you a quick story. A few months ago, I was cleaning out my car, the kind of clean where you find stale fries under the seat and random coins everywhere. I stumbled across a few quarters and decided to check them out because, well, you never know. One of them turned out to be from 1994, and I nearly had a heart attack. I spent the next hour squinting at it under a desk lamp, convinced I'd found the holy grail of coins. Spoiler alert, it wasn't worth $1 million, but it did lead me down a rabbit hole of learning about valuable quarters. And hey, I've been hooked ever since. Now, you might be wondering, what makes these error coins so valuable? The short answer is supply and demand. Coin collectors, also known as numismatists, are willing to shell out big bucks for rare finds to complete their collections. Combine that with the sheer rarity of a mint error, and you've got yourself a recipe for skyrocketing value. And here's a pro tip: if you think you found a valuable coin, don't just toss it in a jar with your loose change. Handle it carefully, store it in a protective case, and get it authenticated by a professional. Trust me, nothing's worse than finding out you accidentally spent $1 million coin on a cup of coffee. So, there you have it, the incredible story of the 1994 Washington quarter that's got collectors losing their minds. Who knew that pocket change could turn into life-changing money? If this video has you itching to check your spare change, grab a magnifying glass and get to work. And hey, if you've got a coin story of your own, drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear about it. Before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got plenty more tips and tricks on coins worth big money, and you won't want to miss out. Thanks for watching, and happy hunting. May your pockets be filled with treasure.